What's up, everybody? In this video, you're going to see one of the investors in our group walk you through her deal and how she was able to execute on multiple strategies on one purchase. Check it out, enjoy the training. And if you would like to attend one of our live Zoom property tours, just contact me. Talk to you soon. Enjoy. Okay, awesome. Guys, welcome to our Saturday property tour. We are a nationwide group of real estate investors that collaborate on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. My name is Umair Haq, in case I haven't said it yet, in case you just jumped in, there's still people jumping on. I'm gonna be your host for today, and we're gonna get the show rolling. In case this is your first time here hanging out with our group and team, directly after our property tour, where we're highlighting just another amazing investor that has used our system to find some great success. We're doing an orientation right after this at noon. If you'd like to attend our orientation, it starts again at noon. You're just going to contact whoever got you to this property tour for the Zoom meeting details. Now, without further ado, guys, I've got the pleasure and the opportunity to invite you, to introduce you to someone I met, I don't know, I guess I've known Cecilia, or we've met 3 or 4 years ago. She started with our group and community. I'm gonna allow her to tell her story because it's very powerful. We're gonna go into her property in her project, and allow the chat box is open for you to type in questions. We're going to try to get to as many questions as we can, and let's get the show on the road. Without further ado, everybody, Cecilia Hake. Hawk. My last name is Hawk. Hake. There you go. Kind of similar. Cecilia, what's up? Good morning. Can you hear us?
Hey, Umair. Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Let me see if I can get your video pinned because I can't see you yet. Oh, we got you taken care of. Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me, and happy Saturday. I'm super excited that you guys are here joining us as we present a property that my fiance and I have been working on. It's kind of fun. This property, we have done kind of everything with it, which has been super awesome to be able to execute and learn from this amazing community. So I'm going to get started and give you guys a tour. I'm physically not at the property because I do have guests. It is an Airbnb short-term rental. So I am showing you this from my office / bedroom.
I love it. I love it.
So let's see how I can. I made it on Canva, so first time. Okay. So introduction of who I am. So I'm Cecilia Hake. It's a big mispronouncing, but I will only have that last name for the next like 6 months. So maybe 4 months. Me and Austin are getting married this summer.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm born and raised in Minnesota. I was a competitive swimmer for 15 years. So that I believe helped me with my skills of time management and discipline. And it showed me what it's like to work for your success and get all of that. So I'm super happy to have had that background, and I can implement those skills into my business career. I graduated with construction management and business administration in 2018 from Mankato, Go Mavs, Southern Minnesota School. It was really great to learn construction management and business admin. It definitely, for our flips, I've been the construction manager. I haven't hired a GC because I know how to do all of that. Maybe in the future when we scale, I can see us adding that to the team. But for now, it's been great. And then after that, I worked for a new construction home builder in the Twin Cities for 3 years. That was also a great experience. I did both entrepreneur and working a 9-to-5 while building our business. And so that was really great to do. A little stressful, time consuming at times, but we all start somewhere, right? In 2021, Austin and I went from 0 to 7 doors while I was working. He works full time as well. These are short-term rental doors, which are what we're going to mainly be focusing on today. We've done fix and flips, and I love that strategy too. But today we're just going to focus on short-term rentals. And then recently, Austin and I moved to California to follow our dreams of living in warm weather. I was kind of just over the cold weather, and it is supposed to be 83 degrees today. So
I'm so jealous right now.
Going to the beach after this, going for a run. And I think you guys can see my dog on the bed. She's getting ready for her run that we're going to take her on. So we've been out here since October. And with that, I left my full-time job to follow Austin and his career. We're out here for his career, but with real estate, we can do real estate anywhere. And before moving out here, I actually had a lot of really great friends who are in the community that Umair and I are a part of. And so it's been great to plug into their connections. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me and who I am and a little bit of my story. And so we're going to get into one of the 7 properties that I'm going to be talking to about you guys today. So short-term rentals, what is it? And why do I say short-term rental and not Airbnb? So the industry standard, it's called a short-term rental because that's what it actually is. People are saying for a short-term amount of time versus a long-term renter would be anywhere between month to month or having a lease that's states if it is like 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, or if it's an auto renewal. For the short-term rental, you don't have a lease. And so that's why it's called short-term rentals. And on the next slide, I'm going to, maybe I'll just go next. Marketing platforms, and this is why it's not called an Airbnb or a VRBO. It's, these are just marketing platforms that you market your short-term rental. And so I just wanted to be clear and share with you guys, that's why if you hear some of us say short-term rental, not just Airbnb, because Airbnb is just a marketing platform. And so those are the different types of platforms. Right now, we're currently using Airbnb and VRBO. I'm new to VRBO. I'm just not liking it as much as Airbnb since I have more experience with Airbnb, but learning, growing as I am growing my business. And so the strategies with short-term rental, I implement both. You can purchase a property and create your short-term rental, or you can do rental arbitrage, which is pretty much subleasing a lease that your company would sign. And so we do both. I think both are great options. I do think rental arbitrage is a great way for people who haven't gotten into their first deal or who are starting off with real estate investing. That is a great strategy for people to get started because it is a lower startup cost than purchasing a property, putting 20% down, furnishing it all. If you were to purchase versus rental, you've got your first month, last month lease, furnishings, and you're ready to go once you get all that set up. I'm unfortunately not going to be talking about that strategy too much today. I'm going to be sharing the property that Austin and I purchased a couple of years ago in Minnesota. And let's get into the details. So here is my before and after of our property. So a little bit of the timeline and a little bit of the numbers. So we purchased this property in January 2020 for $240,000 off of the MLS. So the myth of there are no deals on the MLS. There definitely are, and it just depends on your skill factor and what you're able to do with it and how creative you can get with it. So I found this on the MLS. I do have my real estate license, so I was able to do all of that work on the front end. I walked the property with a contractor. I made them an offer of, I think, 220 or 230. It was listed for 250. And I'm sharing this with you guys because this is how I won the offer out of the 6 other offers that were on the table. Is I put the quote that I got from the contractor with how much money that the contractor said it was going to cost. And I added a little note saying, hi, here's like how I got my numbers and why I'm offering you this price. The house across the street is this, and here's the construction costs. And once the construction's done, my boyfriend and I at the time are going to move into the house. And so the sellers loved that. They didn't want to sell to a flipper, even though that's what I was. We were looking to move into a house as well. Austin and I, we wanted to do the house hack. We got a few duplexes in the Minneapolis area under contract, but they fell through. And so I started getting creative on, okay, let's get a single family house. We can do Airbnb or short-term rental. We'll figure that part out because this is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house.
And you know, Cecilia, I just want to say a quick comment, if you don't mind. It's you said something. You're like, wow, like I was gonna do this, and then I went into doing that, and I knew you had the confidence to, you know, execute on multiple strategies, and that's really what it sounds like. So it doesn't, in your mindset, you were like, hey, I can buy it, I can flip it, I can do a short-term rental to it. If it doesn't work out, I can pull some equity out, and there's all these options, and so it's really cool how just kind of hearing you talk, you guys can start understanding that Cecilia has access to a lot of knowledge that has helped her to be able to pivot when needed. Right.
Absolutely. And that's Austin and I, when we rehabbed this house, I'll show you guys some before and after photos. We put a lot of money into it. We put higher end features, or not something that you would put in for long-term renters. And so I was like, okay, I want to Airbnb this out, or it should be a short-term rental. The 2 bedrooms upstairs, Austin and I will live downstairs, have a master suite. But then in March 2020, the pandemic hit, and that's when we were just finishing our rehabs. And I was like, I'm not going to have like strangers live in our house during the unknown of everything that was going on. So we had to not do the short-term rental of our 2 rooms. But I'll continue on my timeline. So in June 2020, we refinanced, which is probably more familiar for you guys, but we technically got a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit, which the appraisal came back at $400,000. And so that difference, so we were all in $300,000, but the bank only saw that I owed $240,000. So my appraisal amount came at $400,000, which I was able to find a bank who did 100% loan to value, which allowed me to get a stupid amount of line of credit. So my line of credit amount is $150,000. So at any time I could write a check and put a down payment. Later in 2020, we flipped a house and another house, and we used that for our rehab money. I raised the private money to purchase that other house, and then we used that. And then we also used the, I'll get down on that. So then what I did is I paid my investors back, because we did that $60,000 was private capital. We did get a mortgage on it. And then, so we used the HELOC to pay our investors back. And then we ended up having long-term renters with Austin and I. It was our friend and my sister. So they were paying us monthly, and they were with us for about a year. And so that was great. So we had the cash flow. Well, not cash flow, because they got a pretty good deal living with us, but it pretty much paid for our mortgage. And so
you're living for free.
We were living.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, and pretty much free. And then with the equity and stuff too. So then after we did that flip in 2020, in 2021, we used a lot of that equity to fund some more short-term rentals. And I also used business credit for that as well, and kind of diversified. And I got a little bit into crypto and e-com. And so I've got a full portfolio full of stuff, all from this like one deal. It's been really great. So in that July time is when Austin and I found out that he had the opportunity to transfer his job. So from July, August until October, I spent those 2 months packing our house and planning a wedding and furnishing this house as a short-term rental. So
Wow. I don't know how you did it. I mean, you sure as heck kept your hands full. You had a lot going
it was
on.
a little rough, but I made it through. I'm alive, and I'm getting back into the community as I'm starting to have more time now. So we put about $20,000, I'd say 18 to be exact, but like over that year and a half that we lived there, I mean, we, you know, put some more into it. So I'm putting about $20,000 for 2021 that we furnished this property. And then our first guests actually checked in the same day that we left. So
That's just awesome. That is just awesome.
Yeah. So we started making money as soon as we left, which was super awesome. And I want to share with you guys too. So obviously we're in a really great market right now, and this property appraised for 400,000. I actually had 2 appraisals done, and one was 405. This was back in June 2020. Just imagine if I got an appraisal on this thing right now. Like it's almost been 2 years. So I really don't have the exact number. It's probably somewhere around 450. But I don't, so.
And that's being conservative, right? Like if it's been 2 years, I've seen people acquire 100 grand in equity here in the Washington, DC market. So it's been crazy.
Yeah. So I had a lot of people say, well, Cecilia, why wouldn't you just sell the house? And for me, I was not motivated in the money factor because I already had access to the equity. So there was really no difference there for us because I could write a check. I have access to that money. And then 2, which is the most important thing. So there is a rule that if you live in a property for 2 of the 5 years you own it, you don't pay any capital gains tax. And guess who lived in there for a year and 10 months? Me. So, or us. So like, I was not trying to sell this thing and pay capital gains on all of this equity, even though I already had access to it. So the selling motivation, even though we probably could have got all these amazing offers and whatever, I just really wasn't motivated in that factor. I was motivated in more cash flowing and renters because I just left my job. So I am looking to add things to my portfolio that's going to bring in cash flow.
Cecilia, I just want to say this real quick. It sounds like you use this one deal as the seed to sprout your wealth and create cash flow for you now having a little bit more flexibility in time. You use this one property and leveraged real estate to even help you get into other things that you were passionate about. This is really, really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Like I said, we kind of did the full, a lot of strategies into this just one house. And I did that with the help of my mentors, going to masterminds and events and networking, and always be learning. We're a student every day, guys, no matter what your portfolio is, we're always learning. So I have definitely learned so much from everybody and been able to plug all this in. And it's so nice to just call people, hey, is this a good idea? Should I do this? Should I do that? And it's been really great to have that access. So let's get in. So those are kind of the numbers. I'll go into the short-term rental numbers a little bit in here. So here's some before and afters. We did not do any of the work. I did take a hammer to that wall. And that's we did take down that wall, but we hired contractors for all of the work. With Austin and I working full time, it just wasn't feasible for us. And with my construction management background, management in Heighton, I don't have much of the handy skills. And Austin, when we were doing this, didn't really much either. So once we got into more flips, Austin started getting more handy and getting tools and adding that. But for this, yeah, we hired it all out, and that is included. The materials and labor is in that 60 grand. But I did use my skills with working in land development and from the classes and from my construction management, and kind of just used it all for this project. So this is the kitchen. We brought down that wall, green walls. I don't know what was going on there. And I I designed, this was all of my design. With the help of the AutoCAD group at my job, because we design our own stuff there. And then Home Depot, you can go there and ask, they can help design, and same at Menards. We ended up getting the cabinets at Menards too, just because the Home Depots were a little bit more than what I was looking to spend. So that's the kitchen. This is the bedrooms. These are all the two on the left are upstairs. And when I had the photographer come in for the short-term rental, I had him look at these listing photos when we bought the house and do the same angle, because I never sold the house, so I never had professional photos done. So you guys are seeing the same angle in each room. And the photos on the after is what it is furnished right now as a short-term rental. So I kind of went with like a boho industrial theme. So I have bright colors, and it's been doing really well for us. So these are the 3 bedrooms, and we have king beds in all of the bedrooms, and 55-inch TVs. Might think that I'm crazy and we didn't need that, but I'm trying to have my properties stick out in all the other short-term rentals that are in the area. So people love, I mean, they spend half their time there in the bed, right? Or a quarter of the time in the bed. And so that's really important. And it's a little tight in those bedrooms, but it works. And we get a lot of compliments. And then the TVs, I mean, it was a great investment, great return. And that's kind of why we went with that. And I didn't just come up with that idea. I actually learned it from my mentor, who told me that that's what works for him. So I just didn't have to reinvent the wheel. So, and then, yeah, these 2 bedrooms up here are the ones that we rented out to my friend and my sister. And then this bottom one here, we added an egress window to make it a conforming bedroom. And this was the master suite downstairs. So this actually is downstairs and has a full bathroom and a walk-in closet. So Austin and I, we still had our privacy downstairs and could implement that. Ooh. Sorry, my dog just.
No worries. And it looks like maybe
light. Okay.
It looks like the property had hardwoods already under the carpet, or am I wrong there?
Yeah, actually, this is natural. This is the existing hardwood, actually not in the kitchen. Everywhere else is existing hardwood, and we had it refinished and sanded and restained. So I stained it a darker color just because I wanted that with the design. But you can see, yeah, here in the upper left, those are original. Under this carpet was the original. So that was really cool to be able to keep those and
really good.
Add some color to it. So, and then we replaced all the windows, all brand new kitchen. It was a full, complete gut job. I mean,
it looks like it.
And for my first flip, this was our first like flip that we weren't partnered on. Like it was all us, all control on us. It was kind of a lot, but I'm glad we did it and pushed through because we learned a lot. There was obviously some ups and downs, but so here are the bathrooms. The one on the left is that downstairs bathroom to the master suite. So this was actually some like weird walkway and the doors were all weird. So I actually ended up closing off this space, and this is now a walk-in closet. I don't have a photo of that. I might pull up my listing and show you guys. But this is a walk-in closet, which was really great for me in Austin. And I kind of matched both themes. So the photo on the right is the upstairs bathroom. And I love the white subway tile and the black hexagons. And so it was really cool to implement my design that was in my head and put it into real life. So then this, as you guys can see here, this is what I was talking about. This door was all weird and stuff. We ended up blocking that off. And now the door, we opened up the door over here to the bedroom. You can't see it because I have this bookshelf. We had to cover this up like this thing. So people, including myself and Austin, have hit our heads on this thing. So I had to get creative and put a bookshelf there so I didn't have guests calling me in the middle of the night saying, oh my God, my forehead's big. Like, you just didn't need that. So we got creative on that, on how we could make it a master suite. And then I'm just showing you guys here some photos on how I added extra sleeping space into this house. So the photos on the right was actually that's the 4th bedroom. It's a little bit smaller, so we use that. Austin worked from home, so that was actually his office, and I decided to keep it as an office because of the world we live in now. It is a working from home, remotely type of era we live in, and so I wanted to keep that as an office and put a pull-out bed, just so we could still implement that as a bedroom. And then, as you can see on the left, we did put a day bed in there, which again adds more space for more people. And with short-term rentals on Airbnb, you can charge more per guest. So we have so whenever guests get on Airbnb and they see our nightly price, let's say they have 10 guests coming. Well, the first 2 guests are included in that nightly price. And then there's an option that you can add. We add an additional $20 per person per night. So I like to host more people because it is more money. However, we have had problems with this house with people throwing parties, bringing more than they say. So right now I actually lowered that to 8 people max because I'm just not trying to, it was crazy. Someone brought like 50 people to this
Oh my
house.
God. We've had the same experience. So
yeah.
we went back to the coursework and we're like, all right, how do we stop this from happening? And
Yeah.
And we added that whole Vivint smart system and started making some good changes. So it's funny you said that.
Yeah, we had Vivint, and I actually installed it the day after we bought the house so I could creep on my contractors when they said they're not be there. So we actually had Vivint the whole year and 10 months that we were living there. And yes, Vivint saved our life. But the reason they got so many people in was because they were telling people to go through the back, and I was being too cheap and not putting a camera. Actually, I did put a camera in the back, but it was too far away to pick up the action. So what they recommend is putting cameras on all 4 sides of your house. And that's what I should have done, but I didn't. And so what they did is they were sneaking people in through the egress window.
Oh my God.
That's how everybody got in. And they told people to go through the back. My camera in the back did not pick up the side of the house. And so it was crazy. I'm not even going to go much into it, but Vivint did save our lives because I had all of the people, when we called the cops, leave the house like a freaking cab with clowns, like you're just like, how did all of those clowns fit in that car? That's kind of what it was when all these people were leaving the house. I was like, oh my gosh. So that was very stressful, but we got through it. We learned. And now we're just a little bit more strict. We don't have automatic bookings anymore. People have to share with me while they're traveling. Unfortunately, those guests were locals, and they were looking to throw a party for someplace other than their house. So lots of learnings that I've had doing this. So I want to go over the numbers with you guys. And before I do so, I do want to make a disclaimer that these are not typical results. I have studied very hard and implemented, as you guys can see, lots of different strategies. So these numbers are not a guarantee or promise that if you do the same, you can have these same numbers too. You could do better, you could do worse, but I have to make that disclaimer because we are getting into the numbers. So these are the actual numbers of cash flow take home that Austin and I experienced having this as a short-term rental. So in 2021, as you can see, we brought in just over $17,000 of revenue, and which is really freaking great because we lived in the house till October 17th. So this was really of just over 2 months of 10 weeks of rentals, which is really good. So then I pulled from my spreadsheet because we have expenses. Our expenses are a little bit higher being that we have cleaners coming in. I have a runner who I pay, who's my neighbor. So she goes over there. I pay her for that. We have Vivint. We have all of these expenses that make my expenses a little bit higher. But the revenue is higher. So these were our net numbers for the month of October, November, December, and January. And our income depends on how many bookings that we have. In Minnesota, like I started studying and learning about short-term rentals in 2019, guys. I was working, and my friend who I went with to the training, I watched him start and go from 0 to 18 units in 2019 to 2020. I watched him from the sidelines, and I had this limiting belief that, it doesn't work in Minnesota. Like, why would anybody want to come to Minnesota? And so I was so like scared and not taking action on doing this in Minnesota. And just seeing the results, I regret and wish I would have started earlier, because this is just amazing, guys. And we're booked. I mean, it's not 100% occupancy, but we're booked every weekend. And we do have some people that are booked through the week. We have some corporate travel people are here for that. People come back to visit their family or whatever it is. And it's been really great. So this house has taken a lot of my time in the beginning, but now that I'm moved across the country, I have an awesome team and systems in place. I probably spend an hour, 2 hours a week on this house now. I mean, I really don't have to spend much time. And like I said, I don't even think I spend that much time on this house, because I do have my team in place and I have systems set up where I don't have to be manually responding to every single question. And, the booking process or the check-in process is pretty automated. So these are pretty great numbers given the time that I spend now. And just imagine if you had 10 of these guys. This is what's possible in this real estate investing world. So this is why I was more interested in keeping the house as a short-term rental rather than just selling it and making my quick six figures and paying taxes on it and being done. Like, I wanted the cash flow. And this just proves to here. I didn't have enough time to go over what my 2022 projections are going to be, but like in March, I'm just going to pull this up on my app here. In March, I've got a 2-week booking, and that booking amount. And again, I'm not saying this to brag, you guys. We're here spending our Saturday mornings to inspire you guys. Like, I am doing this out of I want you guys to be motivated to start, whether it's short-term rentals or flips or whatever it is, just something that is going to help you build wealth for you and your family.
And Cecilia, real quickly, as you're pulling that up, we had a number of questions in the chat box as you were going through your stuff. You mind if I read some of these questions out to you?
Yeah, sure.
And it's so cool because we've got our units too, and they're fully automated, and it's so nice because I had that same limiting belief in one of our units, and I was like, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's like there's no city there, but it literally pays for a lot of our expenses every month now. So it's just using that same step-by-step process that we've all learned, and now it's so amazing to be here hearing this from you. We're duplicating the same exact process that we learned in the same exact courses with the same exact instructors. And it's just amazing to see how well it's working. So let me dive into a few of these questions. Now, I know you can answer this one. Brian Todd goes, you don't have a cleaning fee?
I do have a cleaning fee.
Okay. Anissa Smith, do you use a property manager, or how do you manage?
I am the property manager. Again, like I say, 1 to 2 hours a week, and that's average, right? Like, if I have a difficult guest or someone that has just lots of questions, I'm going to spend more time on that guest that week. I could hire a property manager, but I have a great cleaner and I have a great runner that if something does come up, that I can just call them to go over there. And if they're not available, I've got my friend who lived with us, so he knows the property. He's been over there a couple of times as well. So I have not been interested been doing that. Maybe if I get more busy over here, maybe, but right now I do have the time.
Yeah. And we are taught how to scale and automate about 90 to 95% of this whole thing. And I feel like as Cecilia grows and does more and more units, she could do that. But hey, an hour to 2 hours a week sounds manageable right now. So we got a few other questions. Hannah David, did you get permits for that office room, or did you have to pull any permits at all during this construction phase?
Yes. For the construction, I did. And since I purchased it as my primary home, I was able to pull the permits and homestead in my own name. But again, I did run into some problems too. And the city's inspectors came by and was like, "Did you do this work?" And I was like, "No." Like I could have lied, but like I was like, "No, I didn't do this electrical work." And so he's like, "No, the contractor has to pull a permit." So some of the permits were pulled in my name, and some of them I did have permits pulled. And I have a whole system set up for that. I wish I could share that with you guys, but I didn't want to go into the fix and flip on this property tour. But in the classes, I learned how to make it clear for the city on what it is that I'm doing and what I want, so I can get approval way faster because it's clear on what it is that I'm doing.
Awesome.
And, yeah.
Good. We got this other one, and this is a simple one, but Corin asked, where do you find short-term renters for a furnished place? Doesn't seem most residential areas have that. So yeah, that's a simple answer, but I'm going to let you answer it.
Yeah, so you would use the marketing platforms as discussed in the slides before. Airbnb is my favorite, VRBO, Booking.com, Expedia. There's all of these different platforms. And then eventually, like, we want to have our own platform that we can have guests come to us directly, because Airbnb does have a lot of expensive fees. And so, but there are also a lot of benefits to using Airbnb, with the insurance and all of that stuff. But that's what we do in our other business here in California. We do have returning clients, and so we have them come directly to us. But Airbnb is one of the best platforms to find, because that's where most travelers are going if you're not looking for a hotel.
And just let me chime in a little for you. And depending on your customer, because of course the platform that we have to help create these systemized businesses helps you to detail out who you want to serve. So another one that I've used for travel nurses, I don't know if you've heard of this one, Cecilia, but it's Furnished Finder.
Okay.
It's for like 30-day stays with nurses and stuff. It's been really good. So here's some other questions. And guys, I'm sorry if we can't get to all of them. And I think Cecilia was getting ready to pull something up. So I'm going to go through them as you're getting that.
Yeah, I had it pulled up. So we have a booking in March. It's from the 12th to the 25th. And that's 13 nights. And the booking is it's like $29.50. So just $3,000 that we're getting for 13 nights, and my mortgage is $1,500. Like, it's amazing, you guys. I do have at the end of the slides here, I do have a comparison of what if this was a long-term rental, what the price I would charge. And yeah, and then I also in July or June to the first week of July, I have someone staying for 21 nights, and that booking rate is $7,945.
Nice.
So, now that we have been up and running and I have all 5-star reviews, I'm a super host now, we can start to raise those prices. So I'm super excited to see what we do for 2021 or 2022.
We can't wait to have you back, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that's all I was pulling up, was that I didn't do the projection, but I just wanted to share some future booking amounts with you guys.
Now, Nikki V asked on this slide, these are your monthly expenses. No, Nikki, that was her profit after expenses that she was able to earn in just 4 months.
Yeah. Well, so the 17, that's just gross, but these numbers here on the right are the take home over the cash flow, guys, right? Like, cash flow is what's most important. If I was doing this as a long-term rental, I'd probably cash flow like $500.
So it looks like Cecilia's got a 50% return, right? Like if you've brought
Yeah.
in 17 and you're bringing in close to 8, guys, she's bringing in a 50% return on her money, and that's just unheard of. I love it.
Thank you. Well, I wanted to show you guys some examples of our expenses. So this is just a Excel spreadsheet that I'm using to just kind of track everything. As you can see, my mortgage is about $1,600. That second line item that's called Elon, that's actually the management fee that I pay myself. And to help us pay for rent out here in California. So as you can see at the bottom, I have actual cash flow, and then I take the like paid for rent and then put like cash flow. So I am taking a little bit money out of this to help us pay for our expenses out here in California, because I'm sure, as you all know, it's not cheap to live out here, but I'm thankful to, have someone else help us pay for a little bit of our expenses. So
So you're using your business, now to pay yourself personally to afford your lifestyle. That's what it's all about, Cecilia. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then you guys can see here, Connie, that's my cleaner. Someone did ask about the cleaning fee. So what I do, I charge a $239 cleaning fee, which is kind of expensive, but my cleaner charges me $205. And so that difference, I do keep the difference. However, I pretty much use that buffer for what I need to pay my runner if I need her for anything. So my cleaner, she does my linen and my cleaning. So it's kind of nice. I'm happy to pay her that much more to do both. And she is a Airbnb host herself. So she understands the business, and she's like, I am happy to pay her. Some people might think that's a crazy amount to pay, but for me, I'm happy. I'm not spending much time on this business, and I trust them, and it takes peace of mind for me. So that's Connie. So as you can see, my cleaning fees, and then I've got utilities, and we put YouTube TV in here and Netflix and all that stuff, and we use that personally as well. So it's kind of nice to add these expenses that are personal and put it into that. Have another account, and then I've got the income on the bottom. So this was for, God, what month was that? I think this was December 38. Yep, this was December. So as you can see, we actually netted 38, but I just put, for my own sake, I'm like, okay, we cash flowed, and I could use more of that to put, but I do like to keep money in the account just for other things and stuff. So again, the expenses, they vary per month to month. They might be higher. This was a month that I wasn't in town. I was in town in November, so my cash flow wasn't that high in November because we spent a lot of money on like stocking items and runners, and we had to replace some things. So, and I didn't have as many bookings that month. But yeah, so that's kind of an example of the numbers. And I'm being total, like, I am opening up my business for you guys. Like, this is where I'm at. Like, I can improve. It's, I know there's other people out there doing well. And so I'm just sharing this with you guys so you can see. Here's the stats if it were a long-term rental. I am located in Minnetonka, Minnesota, on the border of St. Louis Park, Hopkins, and Minnetonka. And I am so thankful to be considered in the city of Minnetonka because there are no regulations on short-term rentals. If I was across the highway, as you can see, I'm this, actually no, I'm this orange one right here. If I was across the highway, which is St. Louis Park, short-term rentals are not allowed in that city. And Hopkins, which is right down here, I'm not sure what their rules are, but I'm in Minnetonka, and I don't have permits that I have pulled or any of that. So as for my knowledge, I did some research on the city website, but yeah, so this is the numbers of what it would be if I took a 4-bedroom, 2-bath in the neighborhood and put it up for rent. Now, these are just the average prices. My house is a little bit higher end because we did put those, it's a little bit nicer than what you would do for a long term. So I would probably do like $3,000 to $3,500. And that would be, easy, guys, right? Like I wouldn't have to have put 20 grand into furnishings. I wouldn't have to pay a cleaner $205 each time she comes in. I wouldn't have to pay all this runner. But for me, like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have this business. So now every time I come visit Minnesota, guess what? It's a write-off for me. Even if it was a long-term rental, it still would be. But it's just awesome to keep this as a rental. And I felt like I was leaving money on the table by just doing a long-term rental. It would have been easy, but I like a challenge and I like to be busy and I like that. So that's kind of crazy, guys, right? Like what is possible. And yeah, so this is a screenshot of my Airbnb.com. I do have, what is this? 7 rentals right now. I know I just talked only primarily about the Minnetonka house. The other 6, I actually am a partner on. And the reason I partnered on these is because I was still living in Minnesota. I had access to a lot of capital and I wanted to have properties in places that I love to visit. I love visiting LA and California, and I love visiting Salt Lake City. So I found people in the community who I look up to and who are already in the business. And I was like, hey, I've got some time and I've got some money. You've got experience and you have got knowledge. Let's partner together and do this. So that's kind of where I'm at. So we've got the one that we own and we're 100% owners. And then the other ones we partnered. And yeah, so it's great. It's been awesome. We don't have property managers. Again, I'm managing all of those. And we have cleaners and runners and stuff. And those other units are through lease arbitrage. So for those of you who are looking to get in your first deal, that is a great way to get started. Even owning properties, you guys don't have to use your own capital and resources. We've flipped many houses not using our own funds and a mix. And so what I can say is if you want to be successful as a real estate investor, learn to become a transactional engineer. Like Umair said, I didn't have just one plan with this house. And if I did, I would have, I guess, failed or not known what to do. Like I was an engineer in all of these different strategies and put them together and used this to buy more and get into more. And, you know, we funded these deals. I know and am knowledgeable on business credit. So I am building business credit on these other companies to then pay myself and Austin back. So then we're literally working with house money and we can use that equity to go buy more and do more. And it's just a snowball effect, you guys.
It's just a big success cycle right now. We're running on short time. We have an orientation time. I know this has been awesome. I know, and I couldn't get to everybody's questions, but if you guys are serious about following in other investors' footsteps, guys, we're doing an orientation discussing exactly how investors like myself, Cecilia, and other investors around the country get their start in their first deal or scale their existing businesses. So I'm going to let you have the next 5 minutes. And unfortunately, guys, we got short time. We got an orientation we're jumping on.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. This is, I'll make it quick here. So I just took a screenshot of our other Airbnb account that this is of 4 units. And as you can see, we literally just started this in July. Like July, we were up and fully operating in August for literally 5 months. And so this is not net. We are cash flowing about probably 1,000 to 1,500 per unit per bed. I don't have the exact numbers right now, but I'm just showing you guys like this is possible. Like you can make a 6-figure business in just a matter of months if you're plugging into the right system and to the right group and borrowing other people's resources. I wasn't local to California and I wanted to invest in it because it's a great place for travel. And it's been awesome. So I just wanted to show you guys, this is separate from my other one. And we're excited to see what we do in 2022.